the main events in the audio frequency circuits. The microphone brings about a pulsating direct current. The transformer changes this to an alternating current. Vacuum tubes amplify this alternating current, which then goes to the modulator.
Molecules containing more than one atom can rotate and vibrate. Sometimes vibration is simple in form. We can see that each vibrational mode has a different frequency, and all of the patterns of vibration may be different. Each of the vibrations is a simple harmonic motion.
The same peaked wave triggers a pulse-forming circuit, which creates a new waveform, pulses with flat tops. Notice that throughout these changes, the exact subdivisions of our second in time have not been lost. We still have precisely the same number of positive peaks per second.
Pulsating direct current. Pulsating direct current.
If the sine wave's frequency is 1,000 cycles a second, we have actually divided 1 second into 1,000 equal parts. But in this sine wave, it's impossible to tell where each thousandth of a second begins and ends. That's why it's changed into this, a peaked wave, which can be measured from positive peak to positive peak.
The microphone brings about a pulsating direct current. Vacuum tubes amplify this alternating current, which then goes to the modulator.
The number of times a given molecule moves back and forth in 1 second is the frequency of the wave. In one complete vibration, indicated here by the bracket, sound travels a distance of 1 wavelength. The velocity of any sound wave equals its wavelength times its frequency.
The number of possible modes of vibration a molecule may have is determined by the number of atoms it has. And all of the atoms executing this motion are moving in phase, passing through their center or equilibrium positions at the same instant.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the second annual Young Lannister Awards. I am the double whose door is always open. Gandalf without the gray and the white because I am all black. Judy LaForge, captaining this enterprise and for one night only, your master of ceremonies for the second annual Young Lannister Awards. I am Left Eye E.G.O.
Let's go! I love it.
So, indeed. And I am also joined by the man with the 2020 prescription plan to help you see these movies more clearly. We have the Young Lannister.
Thank you.
Good sir, how are you doing today?
I'm doing fantastic. Happy to be back. It's been a while, man, since we've done this.
It has.
And time's flying. You know, I can't believe it's been a year already since we
Right.
did our first annual. I didn't think it was gonna be an annual thing, but I appreciate you making it an annual thing. I love it. I'm all down for this.
Bro, for you, I was like, I have to make this an annual thing. I was like, if he's willing to say it, yes, I'm gonna keep going until he tells me no. He really tells me no.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it.
All right, but guys, for those that do not know, Young Lannis and I actually met through Diego Orlando, aka Justin Ice, because we both went to the same grad school. He got his doctorate for eyes, I got mine for ears. And so during this entire time, even though this guy is studying to be an optometrist, he's got so much of a wealth of knowledge of film, talking about camera angles, what millimeter camera you're supposed to use for different exposure shots, critiquing the film's writing, the score, the entire thing. And so just talking with him got me into actually wanting to watch more movies and give more of a critical eye. And so, I don't necessarily like watching the Oscars, sitting down for 3 hours watching movies I've never heard of and actors I've never met. When I can have Young Lannister give us the entire breakdown, and I was like, when we're talking it out, I said, this isn't an Oscars, this is a Young Lannister award. So I mean, through Justin Ice helping us meeting, we are here, and this is the second annual. Also, he was at my wedding, I was at his. It was an amazing time for both weddings. So That's how close we are, IRL, guys. But so giving you guys an overview of this. I've actually got the different candidates for the seven major awards that usually go on Oscar night. We're going to list the candidates one by one. Then we're going to have Young Lannister give us his choice of the winner and give us his explanations as to why. And if you are in the chat, feel free to jump in and give your critiques if you think someone was absolutely robbed. Or if it was right on with the description. So let me go ahead and have this set up. I believe we'll start out. Let's kick this off with best lead actress. If you have that on you,
I do. Okay. Are we just gonna jump right into it?
No,
or?
Actually, let's do this. I'll give everyone, including you, the flow, because I got the slides up so that everyone can see the names on there. So in order, I guess, of importance from not the least important, but the ones we focus less on to the one we actually will say, hey, this is the most prestigious award you can get for the Academy Awards, aka the Lannister Awards. And I think the way that I've got it is, and correct me if you think it should have a better flow than this, I've got the slides either way. We've got best lead actress, best lead actor, best director, best original song, best sound, best adaptive screenplay, and best picture.
I think it's a good order. Generally speaking, the Oscars, when they show them, they always start with the supporting actors first, and then they'll go into the lead actors. Then they'll do a lot of the other awards. They'll do best director, a few of the other awards, and then best picture is the last one. So I think the flow you have is perfectly fine.
Okay, so I guess the question I ask, and a true cinephile here, is I always thought that the most prestigious award at the end of the night, and I thought it was always last, was the best actor. But when you were talking to me, you said it's actually best picture. So can you explain to those people why the best picture is typically last on the list and why it's so highly esteemed?
Well, so best picture is always last, primarily because of all that kind of goes into making a movie, right? So the winners, the people that win the best picture award are the producers, okay? So for example, if Ben Affleck, which he's, produced all of his films. If he ends up winning Best Picture, he's going to get a second Oscar because he's probably acting in it too if he won the first one. Now, again, a lot of times when he is producing a movie, he's not typically going to win for Best Actor. Like you look at Argo back in 2012, that movie won Best Picture. There's a lot of debate about that, but he won an Oscar for that movie because he was a producer for the film. And so typically you want all the smaller awards in the beginning, and then you want the final kind of, cherry on top with the Best Picture if you end up winning that award at the end. Now, there's a lot of controversies and a lot of kind of, subtle nuances about the Oscars that are different from all the other awards. Now, that's a part of also why the Oscars, or aka the Academy Awards, are the final award show when it comes to movies, right? Because by
why
this
is
point,
that?
And that's a lot of it is just because of the prestige that's kind of associated with the Academy Awards. I mean, like they've started like way back, man. You can go, I believe is in the 30s, may have been even older, but all these other ones that kind of came upon afterwards, and they're just not as prestigious, right? You have the Golden Globes, which does TV and movies, right? You also have the Screen Actors Guild Awards. You have the BAFTAs. A lot of the winners from those awards, they're good indicators for who's going to win in the Academy Awards or in the Oscars. And so it's not always the case, though, right? We'll talk more about it with some of these other categories and kind of see what you guys think.
Okay, all right, I love it. So, guys, I know that you typically again go with the supporting actors before you go into the leads, but again, for us, we wanted to start out with leads and get into the more prestigious awards as we go forward. So, what I'll do is I'm going to try to bring up a slide for each category. I will name the actor or actress and the movie associated with it. We'll give a drum roll, and then we will have young Lannista present the award with the rationale for the choice. All right. So first up that we have is Best Lead Actress. Let me get that popping for you guys. And here, I really got to find a better way to figure this part out. You got to give me this 1 second. Best Leading Actress. Here we go. There we go. Should be up. There we go. Boom. All right. Can you see out there? Is that good and loud? Good and large for you there?
Yes.
There we go. All right, guys. So here we go. The nominees are Annette Bening, Naiad, Lily Gladstone, Killers of the Flower Moon, Sandra Huller, Anatomy of a Fall, Carey Mulligan, Maestro, Emma Stone, Poor Things, and the Lanny Goes to
Lily Gladstone, Killers of the Flower Moon.
Wow, I actually thought that this was going to be Emma Stone's coming out party with Poor Things. Go ahead and explain to us why it's Lily Gladstone in Killers of the Flower Moon, good sir.
So there is a bit of a underrepresentation when it comes to Indigenous and Native American actresses and actors. This is actually, I was reading about this a few weeks ago, but Lily Gladstone is the first ever Native American actress nominated for an Academy Award, and I do really think she's going to win. I'm not sure, E.G.O, if you've seen Killers of the Flower Moon yet, but
not yet. No, it was incredibly sad and really gripping.
So the premise behind it is a true story, and Martin Scorsese, I cannot speak more highly of him. I'm biased. He is my favorite director of all time, but he is a true historian, and he loves talking about the very obscure moments of history and brings it to the forefront. And this was a movie he was trying to get made for several years, at least 15 to 20 years. And the whole premise of this movie is about the Osage murders that happened during the 1920s. So again, really quick premise, but basically A lot of the Osage Native Americans who were on the eastern side of the United States were pushed out, moved to Oklahoma. They got lucky. They found a bunch of oil and they got rich. And then pretty much everyone else around the world saw that they had all this money, and a lot of the white flight essentially started happening to Oklahoma, and they started to get married and wanted to essentially get some of that money for themselves. And unfortunately, they knew about these head rights, and they knew about a lot of these, Native Americans, those Osage Native Americans that are living there, that if they married in and they died, well, they would inherit the money. And so then all of a sudden in the 1920s, people were mysteriously being murdered. And then a huge FBI investigation started. And Lily Gladstone in this movie, not only is she a relative nobody, she really, really, encapsulated what it would have been like as Molly Kyle, who's at the forefront of all of this fraudulent activity and saw several members of her family and her, loved ones,
tribe,
and her tribe exactly perish. And so the way that she kind of it was weird. When I first started watching, I'm like, who is this? Like, who is she? What she got? She's, roughing it up with Leonardo DiCaprio, Robert De Niro. She's in a movie filmed by Martin Scorsese. Why does she get this role? And it all just goes back to like the humanity of it all. Like, she makes a very grim and heartbreaking story allows us to feel even more connected to it. And I think she is way more deserving of it. Now, you mentioned Emma Stone.
Right, I did. Yes.
Emma Stone in Poor Things was phenomenal. She was just insanely crazy in that movie. But the thing is, it seemed a little too on the nose, right? It almost seems as if like very baity in a way. For example, Dustin Hoffman in what's that movie with Tom Cruise?
Rain Man.
Rain Man, right? He got plenty of awards and stuff, but like, come on, he played a guy that had Asperger/autism. I forgot. All right, Emma Stone, she plays a role where she is literally a child for the entire first half of the movie, and then she kind of grows up and just does not care about anything, right? I'm not sure if you saw that movie.
I just heard he was naked. I mean, that's so.
She was naked a lot. She was naked a lot.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna say like I it's for science, I guess, for the research purposes. All I know is that generally speaking, when you get naked and you lose weight, that's when the Oscar's usually on the way. But that's just
the truth is, when you start crying, like when you start snot crying, oh, it's over. You got an Oscar.
I see.
Lily Gladstone did some of that snot crying in this movie. She was a diabetic. She played a diabetic. She played sick and ill, and it was all over the place. That woman was like grieving for pretty much the whole film. And anytime you're able to cry that much in a movie, well, I mean, hey, you're probably going to win an Oscar. So Emma Stone did great. Poor Things is a really good movie. It's just so wild. It kind of reminds me of have you seen Midsommar? Ari Aster.
I want to. It just looks like it sounds like it's an intellectual film that isn't as scary as I think.
So Ari Aster is very similar. He it's just so weird. The director of this movie, of Poor Things, also very, very strange, man. I'm forgetting. I believe it's a Greek name, and I for the life of me couldn't remember how to pronounce his name.
Go ahead. The director you said for this movie?
Yeah, it's Yorgos
Lanthimos.
Yeah, Yorgos Lanthimos. Dude's so weird. All of his movies have always been weird. And so even the story, right? The story is there's a woman who is pregnant and commits suicide, and like Frankenstein, he decides to bring her back to life by using the brain of the unborn child.
Jesus, that is okay.
And so Emma Stone, in the beginning, although she has the body of an adult, has the mind of a baby. And, then she grows up really quickly. And that's essentially, the whole movie. Like, the whole movie is just following her life as she grows up.
Okay.
Whereas, like, I feel like I might be a little biased. I do think like playing a character that was a bit more realistic definitely
Okay.
connects better with an audience versus
Okay.
a Frankenstein woman, right? So Lily, I think
Fair.
she has won. So I mentioned this earlier. The Golden Globes are different. They have two awards. They have one for
Okay.
best comedy, like best actress, best lead actress in a comedy or musical,
Hmm.
and then best lead actress in a drama or motion picture, and they both won. Like Emma Stone won for the comedy slash musical,
Hmm.
and then Lily Gladstone won for the drama. Then you went to the
Okay.
BAFTAs. The BAFTAs, the British American Film and Television Awards.
Television award. Yeah.
Yep, she won. And Lily Gladstone won the BAFTA. Lily Gladstone
Mm.
also won the SAG Award. There's a lot of momentum there, and I feel like she's just going to win. Nothing against Emma Stone, and I think this is probably her best individual performance. I'd say La La Land was really good too, but her best individual
Okay.
performance, I'd say, of
Okay.
all
All
time.
right.
And even then, Lily's gonna win. Lily's gonna win.
Really? Okay. You know, y'all gonna have to come back to this stream if you guys happen to watch the Oscars this year, because I think that Young Lannister might be dead on with his predictions. We're gonna probably have to do a See, this
I
whole
got the
interview. He
ballot,
prints it
Red.
off
I
from
got the
Vanity.
ballot. I got
He
the ballot.
prints it from Vanity Fair, y'all. He's invested.
That was
in
the
this.
only one I found. But yes, that's the first one that pops up. But yeah, shout out Vanity Fair.
That's fine. I had to get mine from Town and Country, so I can't hate. All right, guys. So the next thing we've got is best lead actor. Here we go. And I'll bring this up so we can make sure we see it. Got a good view here. Got it. All right. And I'll bring this up here. And the nominees are Bradley Cooper, Maestro, Coleman Domingo, Rustin, Paul Giamatti, The Holdovers, Cillian Murphy, Oppenheimer, Jeffrey Wright, American Fiction, and the Lanny goes to
Cillian Murphy, or Killian Murphy, Oppenheimer. Now,
you know what? I was really hoping for my man Jeffrey Wright to pull through on this one for American Fiction. It's actually, of all these movies that are listed on here, that's the only one that I technically saw in 2023, and I saw that like 2 months ago. But go on, sir. Explain why Cillian Murphy takes home the Lanny.
all right, let's be real, man. Like, this was a very obvious kind of choice, right? The man has won every award possible leading up to this point. He will not lose this award. When you eat only an almond, martinis, and just drink coffee all day, you're gonna win an Oscar. That man was so frail physically for this movie. I'm like, yo, that is absurd. Why are you doing that? All he did, and smoked cigarettes. He smoked cigarettes, ate olives from the martinis and drank martinis, and then ate an almond. That's all he would do every day, and that's because in real life, Oppenheimer he used to starve himself because he was so fixated on getting the work done, like creating this, bomb. Like, he was so hyper focused, even as an actor, a great method actor for this case, and he's gonna win. Like, I mean, there's really no other person in this category. Jeffrey Wright, love the guy. Westworld, one of the best shows ever, amazing. American Fiction, also one of my favorite films of the year. I really, really enjoyed that movie. And you're right. He was absolutely great as Thelonious
Phenomenal.
Monk. I thought he was great.
Yes.
Bradley Cooper in Maestro, he would be honestly the second best person in this award
Mhm.
to potentially win it. I mean, when you got like this much head shaking, you got long hair, and you're
Dude,
anything involving music, man.
Well, that's the thing. Like, I heard that he spent 6 years learning that 6-minute virtuoso performance that he actually literally conducted. It took him 6 years to conduct for 6 minutes. So I mean, Jeffrey Wright would have been my dark horse, but I guess Cillian Murphy, with all the hype that happened with Barbenheimer, the fact that everyone's crediting that and Taylor Swift with saving the box office. I guess it would be rightly deserved in that regard.
I think he was just so invested in the role that it almost came across as like, he could be Oppenheimer. Like he could be the guy. Like if he was walking in the streets and the way his mannerisms were and everything, it was just so surreal to watch. Oppenheimer was a biopic. Some people may argue that it wasn't, but it was a biographical tale of his life, and that's from beginning to end. He was just so unbelievably good. Like I think, although that was one of the best movies of the year, and all the credit to everyone that created it, Christopher Nolan and the cast and everyone else that was around it. He was just in a league of his own, and that movie would not have been anything without him there.
Okay.
I don't even know who would have been. I can't even think of someone that would be a close second.
I mean, well, that's the thing. The only close second I can give is maybe Bradley Cooper. I just think that his Oscar nominations come at terrible times.
Yeah,
it's just he just has really bad timing.
Yeah.
And there's nothing against him. It's just you ran up against someone that wound up being better than you. Now it's Cillian Murphy. And I mean, who knew the guy that played the Scarecrow in Christopher Nolan's Batman Begins would actually turn around and play one of the most influential people in United States history. So to go from that to that, and from being on Red Eye, the bad guy, to this is like, okay, I can't knock that at all. So, all right. So I understand. I will give you that. All right, guys, we are moving to our next category, which is Best Director. I have a feeling I already know where you're going with this, but I'll share my suspense with the rest of everyone else. All right, so up here, and the nominees for Best Director are Justine Treat, Anatomy of a Fall; Martin Scorsese, Killers of the Flower Moon; Christopher Nolan, Oppenheimer; Yorgos Lanthimos, Poor Things; Jonathan Glazer, The Zone of Interest. And then now Lenny goes to
Christopher Nolan, Oppenheimer. Now, let's be real here.
Please go on. Go ahead.
Come on. Were you thinking I was going to say Martin Scorsese? Is that where you were going with this? I get it. I love Martin Scorsese. Man, I told you, he's been trying to get this off the road for a long time. But let's be real. Christopher Nolan, like, the man is a visionary. I cannot speak enough about how great of a director Chris Nolan is. Like, I mean, don't get me wrong. The Batman series, Interstellar, Inception, my favorite movie of all time.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, he just does such an amazing job at telling a story. And one thing he does, and you know this, everything's out of sequence, right? Did you watch Oppenheimer?
No, I did not. Go ahead.
Okay, so the entire movie is like segments of Oppenheimer's life. Like it'll start off with the big lawsuit at the end, and like that'll be the start of the movie, and then he'll show tidbits of his life overseas, the experiences he had there, and then like his middle-aged life, and then during the time where he's actually, kind of creating the bomb itself and the little town that was being built. Now, I think he just has a masterful way of kind of interweaving stories in a way where we can understand it. Now, granted, people are going to fight me about that because Inception, to a lot of people, didn't make sense. But it makes total sense. You just got to watch it. Maybe after a couple of times, you'll get it. So,
I hear you conveniently skipping over Tenet, sir.
Yeah,
I'll let it go.
I just don't think Tenet was as good as some of his other movies. That's it. But it was a good movie.
Okay.
And then that movie was clearly out of sequence. Hell, look at Memento. Memento was one of his first movies. Dude is all over the place, right? And so he does it on purpose. He likes asynchronous timelines. He likes presenting a story that way. And it works. It works brilliantly well. And it does in this movie too. Like I said, he could have taken the very logical approach of presenting this story about Oppenheimer, but no, he ended up. Yeah, I mean, hey, I don't disagree. I don't disagree with that.
Okay, all right. What to check out? What to check out? Go ahead.
Yeah, we'll have to check it out. But no, the point is, like, that's what he does. That's what he's known for, and he did that in a biopic. Like, come on. Like, when's the last time? Like, imagine watching a story about Abraham Lincoln and they start off, with that. Where they started off with his death first. Maybe someone needs to do that. Chris Nolan should do it. I wouldn't be surprised.
I can't. I don't want to see a
That was an
can
example.
explode because a can explosion is gonna be too much for me. I'm just gonna bother me. That's all I know. But yeah, I honestly I would, if I were to try to go ahead and do. I probably should check out Paprika. Thank you. Thanks, Nosferatu.
Yeah.
I would have said if I were to choose an upset for best director, I probably would have gone for Justine Treat just because of the dilemma the movie Anatomy of a Fall presents. I want to make sure I have it correctly, but there's a death that happens, and there's a father, a son, there's a mother, a father, and a son. The son is blind, and they're trying to figure out, did the mom do it or did the dad did it? And it's a dilemma because the son's blind. I've been trying to figure out if I have a very reducted version of that movie.
Yeah, that's essentially it. I mean, it is considered an international film, even though it was filmed in the UK, which I'm like, I guess we're doing that count that as international. It's going to win Best International Film. Okay, it's
okay.
I haven't seen the movie. That is one movie I have not seen, but I have read the general gist about it, and I think you're right. Again, there's no discredit to any of the other people on this list. Like I said, Martin's been trying to get this story of Killers of the Flower Moon for a very long time. Yorgos has a brilliant and just freaky weird mind. Jonathan Glazer, again, he's good. He's done great work in the past, but all this is to say that I really just don't think anyone's going to combat against Nolan here. And that's the thing. If this isn't an indication,
go on.
Oppenheimer's going to sweep a lot of these awards. It's
really,
yeah, man. Oppenheimer. We didn't talk about Best Supporting Actor. Robert Downey Jr. is going to win.
Yeah,
he's going to win an Oscar. And I didn't think his role was that good. I really don't think it was worth him winning that award. It just seemed boring. It was just such a boring role. I didn't really love it. I didn't like his performance as much as some of the others.
I mean, so the thing is, for me, I would have gone with Sterling K. Brown for American Fiction.
I loved Sterling Brown. Sterling was so wild, dude. So I've seen This Is Us, and I've seen the role, the dad that he's played in that movie.
Mm-hmm.
Bro, in American Fiction, I did not see that coming at all.
Right.
Completely
so guys,
different.
For those that don't know, Sterling K. Brown played Thelonious Monk's younger brother in American Fiction, and he is a plastic surgeon who goes through a divorce because his wife finds out that he's been cheating on her with other dudes. So basically, overnight, he loses his wife, his house, the kids, and basically he starts wilding out, basically just doing drugs, hooking up, having random hookups. But he actually winds up being the most influential person in Monk's life to actually get him to open up to other people by saying yo, you're the most like our father, you should open up to people. And conversely, he's the one trying to be too open with stuff, and he's like, hey, you can still be you and no one faults you for it. So he did a really great job. I would have had him over Robert Downey Jr. I don't know how Robert De Niro's performance was for Flowers of the Killer Moon. Then do you think that? So do you think? Go ahead. I'm sorry.
So here's the issue.
Yeah. Go ahead.
The Robert Downey Jr. and Mark Ruffalo for Poor Things, they will always be casted into that Marvel kind of category, and they have kind of. And this is, don't get me wrong. Some of it they were chasing the money, chasing that bag, but regardless of what movie they're going to do,
we'll get to that in a second. We'll get to it in a second. I'm just bringing it up, but we'll get to it in a second. Go ahead.
Regardless of what movie they do in the future, everyone's going to compare Robert Downey Jr. to his Iron Man roles, Mark Ruffalo to his role as Hulk, and anything different is just weird. We're not used to seeing it, and so then we start to give credit and applause to a role that honestly any other actor probably could have done, right? And so that's what kind of bothers me a little bit with Robert Downey Jr. is going to win this award, and I really do think that anyone else could have played that role.
And did the same thing.
Yeah. Now, Robert De Niro, I think he's been on the downhill, right, because of his age. And this was phenomenal. Like he was very with it, very coherent throughout the entire film, and played the role of like pretty much William Hale, who was like the kingpin of this entire Osage County murder scheme, and he did a great job at it. And
Okay.
like I just think like De Niro would have been he would have been my winner, but Sterling, loved him. Sterling
Yeah,
K. Brown is such a good actor.
he's great.
He's going to win. He's going to win something at some
Eventually.
point.
So the thing is that I think as they get older, and you and I talked about this, they're gonna want what I call the four. They're gonna want a new Denzel, a new Cuba Gooding Jr., a new Morgan Freeman, and a new Wesley Snipes. Now, I believe prior to his death, Chadwick Boseman was supposed to be the next Denzel. I think they're still looking for that guy. Michael B. Jordan is the new Wesley Snipes. If you say it's an action movie Wesley Snipes, it's over. Like he's going to bring it, whatever's going to happen. Cuba Gooding Jr., I think they wanted the dude that played Finn in Star Wars. What's his name? You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, John Boyega.
Yeah, I think that they really want John Boyega to be to the next Cuba Gooding Jr. They're gonna, because all I've seen him in lately, either him or that's the only gun I can think of at this point that's young enough for the role. Because RJ Seiler is still trying to figure out the roles that he takes at this point. It's either that or Lakeith Stanford. Those two.
Yeah. I feel like you're right. It's very dependent on the roles that they play. If they wanted to, they could get bigger. For example, the main actor. Hey, you ain't wrong.
You're not lying. Good.
But no, the actor that is with Jordan Peele a lot. The British
that
dude.
Guy. He's guy. That guy. Yeah. That guy.
I feel like
David Oyelowo, that guy. The Oyelowo guy.
No, not David. He's British though. No, the main guy in Nope. And in oh shoot, man, I gotta look it up.
Give us a second, y'all. Give us a second. We gotta pull this one up. Not Daniel Kaluuya.
Yes, Daniel Kaluuya. I think he has the range.
Oh yeah,
and he can be a phenomenal actor if he wants to be. If he wants those roles. The thing is, like, a lot of these guys don't want him. Like, hey, man, I love freaking Childish Gambino. Man, like Donald Glover, bro. He won't take these roles though. He won't. He's too silly. He likes goofy. He likes playing that kind of chiller
I can't
role.
Believe him. I couldn't believe him. That's all. Yeah, but it's like, when I see Mr. and Mrs. Smith, I was like, oh yeah, spies. Like you can't. If I saw Donald Glover, it's like if you told me like I was a model / assassin, I was like, oh, that actually works. Or I was a musician / assassin. It'd be cool. It's just I get what you mean. Like it works. But I do think they're going to try to make Sterling K. Brown the next Morgan Freeman. Like always in that great supporting role, but never necessarily the lead. Because I mean, he did Hotel Artemis was great. So was Predator. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was gonna say another actor, phenomenal actor that if I were to write a movie, I would always keep him in mind as someone I'd want in my film, is Mahershala Ali. I love Mahershala Ali. He could be a Wesley Snipes type character if he wanted to be.
Dude. I don't know. You messed it up for me. You know why? You had me watch Green Book. No, you made me watch Green Book.
So good. Green Book is good, man.
It's not that. It's not that.
Oscar for it too.
It's not that. It's the fact that I can't see him as anymore as the guy that's like this at the piano table. I can't see him as, some motherfuckers always want to skate up Ice Hill and then slicing dudes. I wouldn't believe it. He's the only reason that was actually pretty good. Okay, Ryan Reynolds and the other chick, Justin Timberlake's wife, messed the whole thing up. Jessica Biel messed it up. Sorry. Go ahead.
No, you're right. Yeah, but he had some of that in Luke Cage. He was in Luke Cage as one of the prime villains, and in of course the other movie, Moonlight. Dude, like he could play that hard role. Like he could play if he wanted to. That's the thing. I don't know if he wanted to anymore. Did you watch? Have you seen the detective show on HBO. I think it's
I
True Detective.
did. He did great. That was good.
Oh my
I like
god,
now
amazing!
he could do that. That's
Yeah,
great. He if he like those ones where it's not, I just can't believe him as a phantasm of sorts. Like I can't believe
that's
that
fair.
he's
That's fair.
unbelievable. That's all. But I mean, he
That's
did a
fair.
great in Green Book, and he was great in True Detective season 3. I really did
Yeah,
like that version of him. It's just I wonder if there's going to be a ceiling on that kind of acting for him. That's all.
that's fair.
Yeah,
That's fair.
people
You're
play
right,
some people
but
play
you're
grounded really well, and others do not. You know,
yeah, you're right. There's a bit of a struggle with these aging actors, and um,
yeah.
they gotta. Part of it, there's a lot of debate about whether or not they even get the opportunities, and do people consider them?
I will tell you this. Say what you will about whatever situation he's going on, but the Jonathan Majors movie that he's gonna, that I don't even know if it's gonna come out anymore, but the one movie where he plays a bodybuilder, I want to see that.
Yeah,
Like
same,
that,
same.
I can't wait. Like
I'm so ready for it.
yeah, like actually, you know what? That actually brings up a question I do have. And guys, sorry to derail this. You didn't see Iron Eagle, did you?
I've
Or the
not.
Iron Claw? Iron Claw.
The
Okay, it
Iron
was
Claw. Yeah, I've not. Yes,
yes,
that's the one with Zac Efron and
yes.
the wrestling movie about the brothers.
Where in this? Why do we not have
A single
this
nomination,
a
right?
single nomination for what was technically, guys, for people that don't know, um the family that was in this wrestling movie were pretty much the Fantastic Four of wrestling. Everyone knew who they were. They were wrestling royalty, and yet one tragedy after another. Like
Yeah.
it's ridiculously sad. And I'm not gonna lie, last time I cried in the theater was from this movie. So I was wondering, like, yo, where are the nominations? Why are there no nominations for this?
And I think it's a good question there. I feel like the film is kind of similar to the Tom Hardy film, Warrior. I don't know if you remember that movie at all, but
Yeah.
Warrior I thought was a great movie, and that wasn't nominated for anything either. And that was back in 2011, and people just don't really like this grungy type of like films for awards. The
Okay.
last time it worked okay was The Wrestler back in 2008.
Yeah.
And that was when
Mickey
I can't
Rourke.
remember. Yeah, Mickey Rourke. Yes, when he did really well for it.
I thought it would continue. But
I
okay.
agree. I thought it was gonna be a contender. I don't understand the full reasoning behind it, but the guy from The
Where it is.
Bear is in that movie as well. He was great. Like it
That
was.
was yeah. It was yeah. I get it. Yeah, even no scratch. The wrestler was fantastic.
Yeah.
All right, guys.
And
Well, we're on to this. I'm going to address the next category as well as some controversy after the winner has been announced. But I'm going to go and bring this up for you guys so that we have it and we can commence. Go here and here. So, next one is Best Original Song. Got up here for you guys to see it. Great. The nominees are The Fire Inside, Flamin' Hot, I'm Just Ken, Barbie, It Never Went Away, American Symphony, Wazawizi, A Song for My People, Don't Laugh at Me, Young Lannister, Killers of the Flower Moon, What Was I Made For, Barbie, and the Lanny goes to...
What Was I Made For from Barbie. So,
okay, go that. Okay, that was so, guys. My controversy is the fact that there are two songs from Barbie that are up for Best Original Song, and "What Was I Made For" is the winner by the Young Lannister standards. Please, sir, go into what led to this decision.
So I think the song itself is great. Like I did watch Barbie a few weeks ago, and Billie Eilish made this song kind of the way that it is, and she will win an Oscar for this. Traditionally speaking, big artists when they make a song for a movie, hey, they end up winning, right? You
Okay,
look at Adele's Skyfall, that ended up winning.
with
When
Jack Black, that duet.
No.
Okay, different one. Okay,
Skyfall for a 007 film.
okay.
You look at, Bradley Cooper and Lady Gaga when they wrote their song for, A Star Is Born. That won an Oscar. Like, I mean, she's going to win one, and at such a young age, dude. I feel like she's like 21, 22. I don't know, however old she is, and it's very sad and somber. Like when the song plays in the movie at the end, and again, it kind of the whole film. Greta Gerwig, who does an amazing job, and her husband Noah Baumbach. When they wrote this film, it's a very poignant view of the world and the patriarchy and kind of how anti-feminist it is. And it's funny because they explain this story through dolls, right? Through Barbie's Wonderland, and by the end of it, the whole premise is like, what's the point? Like, what was I made for to begin with? And this song, kind of plays as Barbie wishes to become a human being, right? So I think it just does a really good job at kind of encapsulating the whole story behind Barbie, and the song itself is good. I mean, it's a good song. It's sad as hell. It's slow as hell, but it's a good song. I'm not gonna
Yeah, I
lie.
mean, I will give you the fact that I didn't know Billie Eilish was the one that sang it, and I know that she's been big on, excuse me, look, not necessarily big on looks, but big on the fact of like, why do I have to show my body? I actually credit her with the 2000s look coming back, because I was like, I didn't know when JNCO's come back and everything. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
Right. I was gonna say she got big when she was like 15, 16, however old, and all this fame and money came at her, and she was just like, you know what, I'm gonna still be me. I don't care who you are. Or what you say. I'm not changing my image for anybody. And a lot of other people, like you said, they, I applauded her for that too. And other people, just like I appreciate that, Nosferatu. But I was saying, like, there's other people. Lizzo was huge on this album, and she, is deserving of a lot of the credit too. The issue with Barbie having 2 songs is because there really wasn't that many songs, right? There wasn't a lot of them this past year.
Okay.
Barbie's album was good. Like, I mean, come on, The Fire Inside. Do you know what Flamin' Hot is?
Yeah, the story about how Flamin' Hots came to be.
Yeah, the Hot Cheeto movie, man. The Hot Cheeto movie got a song that was nominated for an Oscar. What? Like, that's just, I mean, again, no offense.
I will say, I tell you this though: if The Fire Inside wins an Oscar, this will be just as bad as when 3 6 Mafia won an Oscar for Hard Out Here for a Pimp.
Yes.
I swear to God, I would walk the fuck out. I'm like,
yo, man, dude,
like, of all the songs,
that. Yes, out of all songs, that one won. Like, it's crazy. But but that kind of gives a Sadiq, my brother-in-law.
Okay, Sadiq, what's going on, man? Go ahead.
I was gonna say, when that movie won an Oscar, it kind of makes you think about American Fiction, right? Did they pick it? Did they pick it just as like the black vote? They're like, know what? Let's pick a song, a hip hop song, and give it an Oscar.
An Oscar. I was just See, and that's why I say, to me, it's like, well, aren't many movies that I'd buy a physical copy of, but American Fiction would be one, because I'm not sure if people, for the most part, really understand that kind of brilliance.
It's such a good movie.
It is. It really was. Like, that was. And I was like, that's, you can. There's that, and there's Magical Negroes, like they're, and it's just like, it's for someone who likes one of those, is gonna let you know how they feel about Black people sometimes when you ask like which ones you went to go see. So it's like, for how funny American Fiction was, it in parts, it actually had a really great understanding. It was very grounded. I think it made it really work with Issa Rae being in there. And I'm surprised. I'm trying to figure if she even was up for Best Supporting Actress. Yeah, she's not even up for Best Supporting Actress in this movie. And actually, God damn it, they got Danielle Brooks for Color Purple on here for. Okay, but that's neither here nor there. That's neither here nor there. Neither here nor there. So because of the field that I am in, we are going to be looking at Best Sound next on this list, guys. Go and bring this up for you after I get rid of this here. And it's the wrong screen there. Go window. Got it. All right, so guys, we are on to best sound. The nominees are The Creator, Maestro, Mission Impossible, Dead Reckoning Part 1, Oppenheimer, The Zone of Interest. And the line goes to
Oppenheimer. Yeah.
I don't want to do at all, but it seems apropos now.
That
Bro,
well.
okay. So I guess my question is for best sound, do they mean like sound effects, like the music that's being pumped in during the scenes? Like what goes into the best sound nomination?
So I feel like a lot of sound will be sound design. Like whether or not some of it will go to like Foley effects or special effects, like sound effects. Like for example, like every single drop or like movement of an atom, right? Whenever some of those scenes in that film itself, it was very planned and orchestrated to the T. There is one scene in the film, and I'm not sure how. I'm assuming we're giving mild spoilers, not full spoilers.
Yeah, go ahead, man. Go ahead.
But in the movie, the scene of when the test bomb goes off.
Okay.
The test bomb, when it went off, instead of it being this loud combusting kind of boom, which we were expecting from a bomb being set off, it went silent. It exploded, and then it was just quiet. And then you just saw the faces of the people behind all the shields and the windows and stuff with like light, and then all of a sudden the sound clicks in, and it's just insane. Everything is like pushing back. It's a tremendous kind of forceful sound, and that alone, man, that one scene alone, I was like, that was fantastic, because it takes your breath away. You know what you're expecting, and yet they did it in something I wasn't expecting at all, right? It was fantastic. And I think that one scene alone, I'm like, man, it kind of reminded me of one of the newer Star Wars films. I believe it was Episode 8, where they like beam through the ship. You know how it just went silent?
Yes. That stuff. Yeah.
That one scene. So it was very similar. It kind of reminded me of that. But that was just like one component of it. Whether it be like, them walking around in the little village that they had formed to create the atom bomb, or everything else that kind of went into it. I just thought it was very well done. Maestro was pure physical music, right? It was pure physical sound. You would assume that would be up there as a potential winner, but it's different. I feel like that kind of goes more so with the score versus the sound, where the score is like the music, and the sound is like individual kind of components to create that. Create the film. You think about Star Wars films, right? The Star Wars film would not be anywhere where it is if it wasn't for the lightsaber noises, right? That's what I think of more of sound, right?
Right. Okay. That sound. Okay. They don't like, it's not sound effects, but it is kind of like sound effects.
It is, right? There isn't a category for sound effects. It's more just sound. Yeah, there isn't one. Okay. There used to be one.
Young Lannister, I'm telling you this, dude. If I were to go see Oppenheimer with you, and that scene that you told me looked off, you'd laugh at me so hard because I'm looking at my closed captioning screen, like, yo, what sound that y'all hear? I'd be like, hey, yeah. I'd be like, I'd be in the back. You need to fix it. Yo. You need to fix it. What's wrong with the sound? Fix it. It's supposed to go boom. Go boom.
That's true. That is so true. And it was. Imagine anyone with a hearing aid or like partially deaf or full deaf. Can you imagine? It's just like there's no words, there's no captions, there's literally nothing coming. It doesn't even say inaudible. It doesn't even say that. It was just silent.
Bro, Shiro and I are doing whatchamacallit, we're doing silent because I'd be like, what do you say? What do you say? What?
Did it go off? What's the noise it's making? Yeah.
Bro, my hearing aid, I cranked the hell up out of my hearing aid. And then when the boom came in, I just throw them bitches out. That'd be too much for me.
Yeah, yeah. That's how it felt. That's honestly. So I watched that movie in IMAX, and Christopher
Yeah.
Nolan films. He always films his movies in IMAX. He did the 50, I believe it was 50 millimeter IMAX. I didn't watch it in that
Okay.
format because of how rare it was. It's only being offered in like 20 theaters in the United States, and they're all
Okay.
like big cities. And I was like, man, the
That's a
closest
lot
big
of money.
city in
It's a lot
North
of work.
Carolina is like Atlanta. And I'm like, what do you? I'm going to go drive 5 hours to go watch this movie? No, that's not happening. So we're just gonna watch it here.
I would.
And yeah, it was great. It was great. Like Oppenheimer's sound, it makes the film as well.
Okay.
It's a component of any film, and without that, it wouldn't be where it is today. You know, it's one of the best pieces of 2023 slash
Okay,
four.
I'll give you that. Yeah, all right, guys. Before we get to our most prestigious award for the evening, I'm actually trying to find it right now, but I know that you have an account on Letterbox, correct?
I do. Yeah.
What's it under though? Do people like find
Uh.
it?
Yeah. Yeah. Hold on.
So we're looking for it now. So for people that don't know, you want to tell them what Letterboxd is?
So Letterboxd is a public forum. It's a website for people to write reviews, movie reviews on. I used to write my movie reviews just kind of separately or on Facebook, but then I found and heard about Letterboxd, and it is just people's reviews. You can write reviews
Mhm.
on IMDb as well, but
Okay.
mine is more so just for fun, and I have it as like it's like a means of journaling for me. I'll watch a film. I'll
Nice.
go to Letterboxd. I'll write a review, and the reviews that I write, I was, as a as a student for a large majority of my life, I was always graded A through F, right? So my reviews, although it's stars, they give like 1 through 5 stars. My reviews will
Yeah.
give stars, and then I'll give a letter grade as well because I feel like that, it's a bit more
Used to it.
encapsulating of what it is. Yeah. Now, I'll be truthful about it. I haven't been able to write as many reviews lately, but I have a lot of thoughts and a lot of reviews I'm going to write pretty soon. But it's just under you, so you can actually find it on my Instagram page too.
That's what I thought. I'm
Under
looking
my
for it. I'm
under my
trying to find the
bio.
search. I'm trying to find the search function on this, dude. Like I can't. Oh, there it is. Okay, let me double check it here, and I'm gonna bring it up once I got your account on
Yeah,
here.
and I actually just texted it to you as well.
Great, I see it there. Guys, give me 1 second. I'm gonna bring up his account. There we go. Found it. Boom. I'm gonna bookmark this from now on. Here we go.
Yeah,
There we
there's a
go.
few things. There's a few things I definitely need to like write out a couple more reviews. I need to write. American Fiction is one of them.
Yes.
But I haven't written one quite honestly in a few years. In a couple years actually. So I just haven't had the chance to get into it. But yeah, looking at it there, I have some of my favorites. There's some others just in general that I've been writing out. But if you click on diary or
Mm-hmm.
reviews, I believe. Yeah.
Oh, that's pretty
Yeah, you can
extensive. Wow.
see
Look at
yeah, you can kind of see some of the reviews that I have written. But yeah. I don't skimp on them. Some of them some of them are very honest about it. Some of them will have spoilers, but they will give you a little warning about whether or not there's a spoiler or not. So I give both spoiler reviews and regular reviews. But yeah, there's a lot there, and if you guys have the time to go look through it, I appreciate
Oh,
it.
I've officially put your link in the chat. I'm gonna go ahead and put it in here as well for the people on Instagram. And honestly, guys, it's really worth the look on his account. I will say that there are only 2 people on this earth that could get me interested to watch a movie that I would never consider watching. That is the homie Stuntman, and that is Young Lannister. All right. I went to go see a movie about 3 billboards. Okay. That's all he had to say. Hey guys, we're going to go watch 3 billboards. We're going to go watch it at a theater that doesn't take credit cards, only take cash. We're going to watch it at 11 at night on a Sunday. All right. I'm not even going to tell you what it's about. All right. Just have $37. Meet me in downtown Philly. Like that's exactly how he got me to see me and Justin Ice, aka Diego Orlando, to watch a movie. So that if there's anyone to get you excited about a film that you were kind of on the fence on, Young Lannister is your guy, and that is his Letterboxd account. So we are now going to be on to the most prestigious award of the evening. Actually, you know, I actually have a one before this. I'm sorry. It's best adapted screenplay. I'm sorry, guys. Before best picture, we got best adapted screenplay. That is my fault. I know this because I actually made the pictures for this one for the last two. My bad. So we are actually under best adapted screenplay. So I know that there is best original screenplay and best adapted screenplay. We talked about last year why we wanted adapted over original, but go ahead and explain it for why we typically go with adapted over original.
I think a lot of it is just like adapted screenplays hold more weight, right? Nothing's truly original these days anymore. Adapted screenplays are all based off of books, musicals, plays, short stories, novels, whatever the case is, and they typically are just the better films. Don't get me wrong, some of the stuff that came out this year, the original screenplay, one of my favorite ones that was nominated for Best Original Screenplay was Past Lives. Past Lives is on Amazon. It's very simple story, right? It's about this couple, this South Korean couple that, you know, and they're not a couple, like friends. They were like childhood friends, and they kind of grow apart, but things don't work out the way that they thought they would. They thought, like, one of them thought they'd get married and live like happy lives together. One moved to America, the other one stayed, and you know, it didn't work out. But then there's always this thought about, like, you know, maybe in our other lives, our past lives, maybe we were together at some point, and why there's a connection between the two of us. And it's such a simple movie, but it's so well done, and it is deserving of more credit. And I think, like, personally, I feel like that should win original screenplay. It's not what I chose. That's not what I chose, but I think it's deserving of it. Okay. I think Anatomy of a Fall is going to win that.
I do. I think it's going to win something. Based on just what I saw, I was like, the tension would. It sounds like it's going to be slow. The movie would be slow, but the tension would be high, and I'd be interested to see the resolution. So that's what I got. So excuse me, guys. So we are on to best adapted screenplay. I'm going to bring this up again here for you guys, and this one's gonna be just all the pictures, so I'm just gonna go in no particular order on this one. So we've got best adapted screenplay. The nominees are Barbie, American Fiction, Zone of Interest, Oppenheimer, Poor Things, and the Lenny goes to
American Fiction. This one, I
yes. Go ahead.
Really want this film to win Best Adapted Screenplay. You know, the story is we'll go ahead and explain the story here, but it's essentially about a man, Thelonious Monk. He is a writer who isn't the most popular writer. You know, he's a bit more of an intellectual, writes books that really can't people just don't relate with him as much. Okay. And during this time, Issa Rae's character, she wrote a book that was very stereotypically Black.
It was a minstrel show book. Yes,
and it got a lot of awards, and people were talking it up and saying, this is what Black America is like, this is the truth. And he saw it. He saw the awards and the applauses that it was getting, and it was just like, what the are you kidding me? Like, so as a joke, he decides to write a book under a pseudonym, and is essentially the same thing. Like, he writes it's a little different, but he, you know, it creates his book, and it takes off. And it's a satirical comedy that is not only relating to that, but like LJ was referencing earlier, it's about his life and who Thelonious Monk really is, and you know how he kind of struggles with his identity to some degree throughout the film too, whether it be in his own family or his relationships. And it's just so well done. And the writer of the book that it's based off of, I believe it was like Ernest something.
He looks just like Jeffrey Wright too.
He does, and he was one of the executive producers as well. And was in very many ways was Jeffrey Wright's character. He was Thelonious
Hmm.
Monk, not exactly, but a lot of it was very similar to the actor, the writer himself. And so I just thought it was great. The story was funny. It was relatable. It was a breath of fresh air in the
Hmm.
movie theaters. I just thoroughly enjoyed it from beginning to end, and I can't wait for it to be, on streaming sites if it hasn't already been, and to watch it again. Like I just really enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was great. I mean, that was it's one of the best. So I mean, everyone that I've seen has like their one movie that happens to have all black characters that they like put on a pedestal. And so I know that we went to go see Black Panther. I never would have seen
Yeah,
that if it had not been
yeah,
for you. But I'm
yeah,
like,
yeah,
for every Black Panther, there's Meteor Man,
yeah,
and for every American Society of Magical Negroes or Hustle and Flow, there's an American Fiction. And I truly believe that this was the movie that was like, hey, look, this is what it can be like. You don't have to necessarily um, have everything together. Like they sometimes they portray black people as either superheroes or degenerates,
yeah.
and this guy is like kind of he's a regular dude for all intents and purposes. He's a writer, but he's a regular guy, and you could say like, hey, am I do I do the thing that everyone expects me to do, or am I okay with just being a writer? Not necessarily, I'm not well known. People might know me, but it's not like I'm going to be at a Comic Con or anything in the meantime. So,
Well,
yeah,
even
and
like
it
they
was a
make
really
that
great
that
story.
they emphasize that point, even within his own family. His
Yeah,
father was a doctor. His brother is a
yeah,
doctor. His sister is a doctor. They're
yeah,
all very well educated. They come from wealth. Like they're doing really great things. Shoot, they have a house in like the coastal town of like in Massachusetts. Like, come on, like what?
yeah,
You know how expensive those homes are?
yeah,
And that's
yeah,
the point. Like, people view Black America through this lens, and they want to kind of fit everyone into this stereotype, into this bubble. And Thelonious Monk was out there to kind of dispel that. And so even throughout the film, as his book, which was a complete joke, is getting all these awards, he's just like, what the hell is going on? Like, is the world actually really like this? And
right.
sadly, and very unfortunately, it is. There's a lot of people that do view, certain groups like that.
Yeah, but yeah, guys, all to say, if you haven't seen American Fiction, watch it. It's actually really great. So I'm so glad that it got the best adapted screenplay. We finally got one. That's the one that I wanted to win. If there's nothing else, it won at least one award, and it was best adapted screenplay. Now we are officially on to the highest honor that can be bestowed on the Young Lannister Awards. And we got it here, and we got it here. Let me find it again here. And that is for Best Picture. So there are actually several of these listed on here. I put all the pictures on there. So give me a second because there's two slides. There's a general one and there's one continue because there were that many movies. I didn't know they had this many movies
It
that fit
always is.
the
The
category.
best picture category always gets the most, and in some cases, it's just to give them some credit, to give them some love. They're
Okay.
like, they're like, oh, you are a nominee for best picture, so hey, good
Yeah,
job.
there's I'm gonna say these out, guys. I'm gonna tell you right now, there's like 8 or 9 of these. So here we go. Here's the first list. The nominees for Best Picture are Barbie, American Fiction, Killers of the Flower Moon, The Holdovers, Anatomy of a Fall. Give me one second as we continue here. That one there. Drop this one out. Sorry, guys. In my head, this went much faster. All right, here we go. Here we go. Continued. See here. Maestro, Oppenheimer, The Zone of Interest, Past Lives, and the Lanny goes to
Oppenheimer, directed by Christopher Nolan and Syncope Productions. Yes. Come on, like Oppenheimer will win Best Picture, and it's not even close.
Okay.
It's just like it's come on, like it's that movie will sweep so many dang awards. Just like last year, when Everything Everywhere All at Once
All at
took
once.
out so many people to win those awards. It wasn't even a shock, right? And this year it's not going to be anything different. Oppenheimer had a lot of hype going into it years before this. They're like, oh snap, like Christopher Nolan is making a movie about Oppenheimer and like the creation of the atom bomb. Like, come on, like this is great. It's gonna be amazing. All the way leading up to it, to when it got released, like I mean, like don't get me wrong, Barbie was like going toe to toe with it, but
Right.
all the awards and like just like the cinematic achievement that it had was, it was going to win. It was foretold back when it was released that Oppenheimer will win Best Picture. Like I mean, it didn't even matter what.
Like they said it straight. They said straight up that would happen.
No, they didn't say it straight up, but like I was like, man, it doesn't matter. Like it's them against everyone else at this point.
Okay.
And and that's how it's going to be. Christopher Nolan will finally win like Best Picture. He hasn't won. I don't think he's won Best Picture.
I don't think he's won. I don't think so.
He's won Best Director roles. He has won some Academy Awards for that, but he hasn't won for this. And so yeah. I just think like it's just too obvious. Like I mean right now, like you think about it, right? So from based on all the awards there, like Oppenheimer at least for me, from based on what I've been seeing, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, so I think they're gonna have at least 7 minimum.
Okay.
Academy
minimum
Awards
7 winners.
And there's 23 categories. Is nominated for 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, 10. So it was nominated for 11
Wow.
Oscars, and I think it's gonna get at least 7. There's some of them. It's like costume design. They're not gonna win. They're not gonna win that one. They're not going to win production design. I don't think they're going to win that one either. Okay. Makeup and hairstyling, they're not going to win. Like any of that stuff or not. But editing, they're going to win. Original score, I mean, Hans Zimmer, come on, they're going to win. Like those awards are definitely going to win. I think that one of the bigger surprises, and we didn't have time to really go into it today, but visual effects, right?
Yeah, I was going to go over that, but go ahead.
Oppenheimer wasn't nominated for Best Visual Effects.
What?
Right.
Oh,
and I thought the same thing. I was like surprised. I'm like, why?
Doesn't make any sense. How?
Out of all films, like you would assume that would be
one given, but it's not.
The Best Visual Effects nominees were The Creator, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning Part 1, Napoleon, and Godzilla -1. It's up there, right? So Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, love that movie. Total fun.
It was good.
Had an amazing job. At that, everything about that film was just amazing. It was about Rocket story, like it's heart wrenching.
It was great. Yeah,
it was great. It was great, and it was like a true kind of storybook ending to their story, right? Although it's not the end of the story, it was just like for that particular series. I would love to see that movie win, but I think Godzilla -1 is going to win an Academy Award for Best Visual Effects. And it's weird because Godzilla. Did you watch that movie, Godzilla -1?
There's so many I can't keep track, bro. Go ahead.
No. And that was the big thing about this. This has nothing to do with all of the other Godzilla movies. This is a purely separate movie, filmed in Japan. Like it was by a Japanese company. The whole movie's in Japanese.
Okay.
It has, and it was for the first time. The only reason I watched it was because it was about, Godzilla and how much of an asshole he really is. Like, man, he's no longer teaming up with Kong and be like, yo, let's go fight the other bad big guys. It's like ridiculous. Like, why are they making Godzilla seem that way? It was the first time in a long time that I've seen him just be a pure asshole and just like demolish and kill, millions of people. Uh,
I'm
and
with
that was it was great. It was awesome. But even when I was watching it, they showed Godzilla's face, and he looks very kind of childlike, almost like he has like facial
Mm.
features, and I'm like, Whereas in the Godzilla Kong movies, I haven't seen any of them, and I don't plan on watching any of them because there's so many and they just look terrible. It kind of
So
reminded me of Transformers.
too much happening.
But
Yeah, exactly.
but the thing is, in this one, they gave him like facial features, so almost give him like a human kind of uh, feel to it, and I was like, what is this? This is so odd. Um, it's a really good movie. That's going to win Best Visual Effects. I think that's probably one of the more surprising kind of award winners for this upcoming Sunday, and I think it's oddly deserving of it. But I'm more surprised that Oppenheimer wasn't nominated. I think that was kind of weird.
Yeah, I get it. Guys, we are officially concluded for the second annual Young Lannister Awards. I know that there's going to be, I think it's going to be a big 2024 for the movies that are listed. Any movies that are going to be coming out for 2024 that you've got on your short list as the films to look out for next year's Young Lannister Awards?
Yeah, Dune 2 is huge. I actually rewatched Dune, and I'm planning to watch Dune 2 in the next few days. That is going to be up there for all of its cinematic efforts, for its visual effects, for its sound, for its editing. That's going to be definitely something that's going to be nominated quite a bit for next year. So I'm looking forward to that. Um, you know, there's so many other films that are probably coming down the pipeline. I think the best ones are the ones that you know the least about, like American Fiction, right? I went into it knowing
Yeah.
very little about it. Like Past Lives, I didn't really know anything about it. I think those they should be getting the most praise. So the next time you are able to go to one of those small town theaters and watch a movie that you've never heard of, aka Three Billboards outside of Ebbing, Missouri, take the chance. Just watch it. I guarantee you're probably going to have a good time. And sometimes the trailers do give it away. Trailers will often give away
Yeah.
stories and stuff, and so I will sometimes just go into a movie just without knowing anything about it. Like we're not watching the trailers. I don't want to watch it.
Okay.
And so, Dune 2 is like the one that's come out recently. That's like on my list to watch. The Joker sequel, the second one.
That's probably gonna win best sound or like best
Oh,
musical comedy, I think.
well, Joaquin was so good as the Joker. So I'm interested in seeing how that's going to be. There's just so many coming down the pipeline, and I think we just got to wait. Obviously, award seasons, it won't really start until Thanksgiving time and onwards.
Okay.
And so we got a ways to go before then, but definitely looking forward to that. I was surprised Avatar didn't get nominated for much of anything either this year. The Way of the Water.
It was
It was last year. It was the year
up.
before. I think
I didn't even know.
before. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, the second Avatar film, but yeah, for sure. But E.G.O.
I will just say this: the one thing that's on my short list is the Challengers was Zendaya. I think that I think she really wants to grow up and be seen as like a legit adult actress, not in the way you think, but like perceived as like, hey, is that the kid that was on Nickelodeon? Not Tom, the other guy, Tom Holland's girlfriend, but like, hey, I was Zendaya, the literal actress. I think that with the Challengers, with that drama where they're going to show her young, but as an adult playing mind games, I think that's going to be the one that I'm going to want to be looking out for in the future. But yes, go ahead and say the tides and farewells, good sir.
Yeah, no, I was just going to say, unfortunately, we live in a world where we're running out of ideas for movies, and they're just making sequels to everything, right?
Yeah.
Like, don't get me wrong, I am super pumped to see the new Deadpool movie as well. It's going to be coming out because Wolverine's in it, and Hugh Jackman. Well, it's probably Hugh Jackman's last time as Wolverine, and Ryan Reynolds is fantastic. Like, I would love to see him, more and more as Deadpool. But it's just another sequel. Gladiator, man, I saw Gladiator. They're making a Gladiator 2. Why do you need a second Gladiator?
I don't get it. I don't get it at all.
Scott, you did so well with the first one. Like, you don't need a second one, right?
I know.
The Planet of the Apes movies, man. There's another one of that coming. There's just so many, and we're living in a world where things are just becoming less and less original, and I feel like it's things like movies like Poor Things, American Fiction. These are the ones that should be given the credit that they deserve. But the Academy Awards, the Oscars are a little different, right? They don't see it that way. They're going to give the movies that make the most money a lot of their awards, and that's part of why I was actually looking this up. But the reason, which makes total sense, the reason why there's so many pictures that are nominated for Best Picture is because it gives you a nice little credit, right? It boosts that film. And think about it, the nominations are typically announced in like January, so then you have
Okay.
like another month and a half to like get more money for those
Okay.
individual movies. And the thing is, the Academy Awards are always about preserving cinema, preserving that, getting your popcorn and Coke and walking over to the movie, and driving over to the movie theater and enjoying the film there. But now we live in a world where everyone's streaming everything. Everyone's just watching it. People are like, oh, that movie got bad reviews. Let me just wait till it gets on Netflix, Hulu, whatever, and then I'll watch it at home because I want to take the trip out there. But that kind of defeats the purpose of, that movie magic, right? It's meant to be seen in theaters. And part of why they, will give these Best Picture like nominations is so that people will get out there before the Oscars. But the Oscars are losing some of their, some of their showmanship. They're losing some of that, the praise that it used to get, and it's just different. But anyway, E.G.O,
This
I
is why we
appreciate.
have the Lannista Awards. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
Yes. I appreciate the time, man. This is always great. I love doing this. And if you haven't seen these films, I haven't seen all of them myself. Get out there. If you're still able to see them in theaters, go to the theaters. Go, and if you're just hanging out on the weekend, pay that matinee price of $7 or whatever, and go and watch that movie because it's gonna be a lot more memorable, and the experience is gonna be better than just sitting at home and watching it on TV.
Agree. That's something young Lannista, guys. I throw out his letterbox and his IG accounts if you want to give him a follow. If there is ever a movie that you want us to review when it comes out, DM us. Send us a direct message on Instagram, Twitter, IG, anything. If you want us to review it and get the Cinephile Young Lannisters input. So, guys, but for Young Lannister and E.G.O, we are out.